I'm going to share my personal tips for how I completely overcame feeling cringe and imposter syndrome. These tips can work for you because they work for me. Hey, my name is Arjun. I'm the founder and CEO of doula.com, a venture-backed startup here in New York City that's raised over $13 million of venture capital from some of the world's best investors, including Y Combinator, Nexus Venture Partners, HubSpot Ventures, and notable angels like Cody Sanchez, Graham Stephan, Sahil Bloom, Dharmesh Shah, and more. I promise you, by the end of this video, I will explain exactly how I overcame the feeling of cringe and the feeling of imposter syndrome. The way I'm going to break this down is I'll first tell you a story, which was the exact moment in time when I realized I can actually overcome cringe and imposter syndrome. And then I'll give you a 3-step tactical playbook, which includes step 1, understanding the spotlight effect. Step 2, desensitizing yourself through action, through savage consistency. And step 3, ignore the crabs. And I'll fully define what that means. Let's dive in. To fully walk through this, I want to take you back in time to the moment when I realized I could actually get over this feeling of cringe and imposter syndrome. A couple years ago, when I first started consistently posting on Twitter and LinkedIn. This is exactly what happened, which is wild. I decided at a certain point, I'm going to consistently post content on these platforms. And the reason why was I wanted to share things I was learning. I wanted to document the journey while building Doula, but I also wanted to attract potential customers, potential employees, and potential investors for the business. So there were personal reasons and business reasons. Now, at the time when I started, I had maybe 1,000 followers on Twitter and I think 3,000 followers on LinkedIn. And I decided every single day I'm going to post for 66 days in a row. And I chose the number 66 because I had read this book, my favorite book, Atomic Habits by James Clear. And he said that on average, it takes 66 days to build a new habit. So I said, okay, I want to build this new habit of creating, of sharing the journey. Here's what happened. Every single week, 100% of the time, I got roasted in the group chat. So I would wake up, I look at my phone, and sometimes there'd be a post from a friend, and some of the comments were, I don't get the point of this post, or this is such a stupid post, or this is cringe. Here's the thing that happened. I noticed people were commenting, but I kept posting. I started to get followers. People actually resonated with the content. The craziest thing was, the second I passed 10,000 followers, you know what happened? People went silent. I had crossed this kind of magical arbitrary threshold where it was the same person saying the same thing, but all of a sudden, after passing this magical 10,000 number, it was almost like, oh, this person is allowed to say these things, and it's not cringe anymore. Now, the truth is, I still get roasted in the group chat sometimes. Side note, I actually think you're not marketing hard enough unless you're getting roasted in the group chat or you're potentially pissing someone off by noon. You got to push the edge a little bit. But overall here, this story showed me that so much of what you say and what you do is actually determined by these kind of arbitrary thresholds which are external. Don't get me wrong, there's some times when I feel like, hey, maybe I don't want to post this, but actually those are the moments when I realize it's even more important to post. This is the 3-step process I realized I was following while I was going through this process of climbing Cringe Mountain. And this is one of my favorite images. You are down here, and as you start to do anything, start a business, pursue a new lifestyle, a new health habit, posting content, as you start to climb, there's going to be the naysayers, the people who aren't taking action, chirping, roasting you in the group chat. And as you climb, the valley of cool is on the other side. And at the top, the naysayers will always be there, but they just start to get a little quieter. And on the other side is what you've been looking for. Again, whether it's posting to acquire customers or talent or investors, or just building your personal brand. So step 1 is you have to understand the spotlight effect. In our own heads, we think the entire world is looking at us or thinking about us. But here's the truth. If you walk into a room, you know that feeling if you think, oh my God, everyone's looking at me, is there spinach on my teeth? Well, maybe there is spinach on your teeth, maybe there are people looking at you, but the truth is, people are not thinking about you. The spotlight effect is this concept that you actually overemphasize the amount that other people are thinking about you, and it's all in your head. The truth is, someone might look at you when you walk in the room, but then 5 seconds later, they're probably thinking about, crap, I forgot to drop off my laundry, or crap, I forgot to book an appointment for the next day. So the truth is, once you understand the spotlight effect, you'll realize it's a bit irrational in your head. The in your head part being, you think everyone's thinking about you. The harsh truth is, even if you post something a bit crazy, people are going to forget about it very quickly, especially in this day and age. So understanding the spotlight effect is important because there is an irrational fear in your head that saying this thing is going to be stuck in everyone's brain for a long time. If anything, it's not, which makes it even harder to stick out and cut through the noise. So that's the first thing. I understood the spotlight effect, and that actually made it so much easier for me to overcome this feeling of this is cringe or imposter syndrome, because I realized people actually aren't thinking about me as much as I thought they were. The second thing I did is desensitizing yourself through action. But I realized what I did was this term of savage consistency, which is I picked 66 days, and every single day I didn't miss. My favorite example of this is there was a mentor of mine who was helping coach me and guide me through, hey, this is the right way to create content or put it out. I'd made a commitment that I'm going to post every single day. So there's this one day I was flying to Mexico for a trip with some friends. The flight was actually at 6 a.m. in the morning. So I knew I was going to be flying for 5 hours, and I like to post every day in the morning. So you know what I did when I got to the airport? I whipped up my laptop. I think it was 4:45 or 5 a.m. I made the post, I posted it, and I sent it to my mentor saying, hey, I'm flying a little early today, so I'm sending the post early. And he told me it was at that moment when he realized it's going to work for you, because it's that level of consistency of the same way you wake up, you eat, you sleep, you breathe. If you want something bad enough and you commit to doing it every single day, you will see the results. And those are the most important days. Now, yes, consistency is important, but really what you're doing here is you're desensitizing yourself through action. If you do the thing occasionally, then you might feel, oh, this feels a bit cringe or this feels a bit weird. But if you do the thing every single day, that feeling goes away, because it goes from something that you feel like doing to, I am someone who creates. I am someone who does this thing. So the consistency is so key. You'll realize if you continue to do it enough, 66 days or longer, you desensitize yourself. The final thing, which is so key, is ignoring the crabs. If you think about society, it actually resembles a bucket of crabs, where if you take a bucket of crabs, if one crab starts to try to climb out of the bucket, do you know what the other crabs will do? They'll actually pull it down and break its leg, because they don't want that other crab to escape. Now, again, that might be a bit morbid, but the truth is, in society, when one person takes action, that could be starting a business or posting content, the other people actually get insecure. They start to question, hey, why am I not taking action? So their inner crab comes out. It's kind of like climbing Cringe Mountain. The naysayers start chirping. What I realized is you have to ignore the crabs. The crabs will always be there. If you are actually taking action and doing something, it is a good sign if people are chirping or saying something, because it shows you're breaking from the pack or doing something. Now, as a side note, just because there are crabs around you, you can actually surround yourself with different people. I think of those as the 5 chimps, or the 5 people around you that you want to be the average of, and find people doing a similar thing who will help elevate you. So to recap, the 3 things you can do to actually overcome cringe and overcome imposter syndrome are: 1, understand the spotlight effect. You're overthinking how much people are thinking about you. Number 2, desensitize yourself through savage consistency. Pick a goal and do it, and you'll realize it doesn't feel as cringe. And number 3, you have to ignore the crabs. And the final thing I'll say is, in life in general, being cringe is a prerequisite for success in anything. It doesn't have to be a bad thing to sit in the front of the class and take notes. It doesn't have to be a bad thing where if someone says in a presentation, do you have questions, you raise your hand and ask a question. No one should penalize you for being yourself and going after what you want. And ultimately, what I'll say is, I think being normal is not the goal. Normal is a dishwasher setting. I think you should be the true you, go after what you want, even if that means someone else thinks you're cringe. And lastly, for overcoming imposter syndrome, that only comes from saying things or doing things which you haven't done. If you're just documenting the journey versus creating, think of that mindset, and just posting or saying things that you've done, there is no imposter syndrome, because you've actually done the thing. So I hope this resonates. I hope this helps. That is the 3-step playbook I use to overcome feeling cringe and overcome imposter syndrome. Thank you so much for watching the video, and we'll be releasing more content just like this, where I'll be giving you an unfiltered, behind-the-scenes look of what my life is like building and scaling Doula here in New York City, including the challenges the team faces on a daily basis, how we acquire customers, how we've raised funding, my favorite growth hacks, my morning routine, and more. So please like and subscribe to the channel. We'll be putting out content on the regular. And speaking of entrepreneurs, if you yourself are a founder looking to either start a new business or scale an existing business, Doula is your business-in-a-box solution. We've helped over 10,000 entrepreneurs from over 175 countries focus on what they do best, so Doula can handle the rest. The unsexy yet critical back office required for any business. Thanks so much for watching. See you in the next video.